Okay, so you crack under stress easily. Think about this. If I had to run a marathon, I could not. If I had to run 3 miles, I could. Probably not as fast as some of you. If I had to run a mile, I can do that easily. If I had to walk to the end of my driveway, I can do that easily as well. But there are people who can't even walk to the end of my driveway. So what do? If I'm training for a marathon, I don't jump on and try to run 13 miles the first day of training. No, I don't do that. And when I do push myself and I have a 3-mile run and I try to hit a 7-minute pace and I feel exhausted, I feel overwhelmed and I rest and I recover and then I go again tomorrow. And I might build in a couple of days off. Then I might have a few easy days. Then I might have a day where I'm going to try to run 6 miles on Sunday, keeping an 8-minute pace, or maybe keeping a 6.5-minute pace for the first 3 miles. I mean, this is all, how we train for marathons. But the concept is the same, isn't it? So if you get overwhelmed with stress and anxiety, you get overwhelmed by dieting. So you look at someone like Dayton Fix, he hasn't had a lot of time off since he was in 5th grade. He's made like 8 world teams already. He made the world team 3 or 4 times in high school. So after high school state, he starts training again. Then he's at the world team trials. Then at the world team trials, he makes the world championships. He wrestles that in August. Guess what? Maybe he takes 2 weeks off and then he's got to start training again for high school nationals. And then he did the same thing in college. So you're like, this guy can kind of watch and manage his weight almost year round. And you can't make it a week or a day or a weekend. Why? Because he has a higher tolerance for discipline, higher tolerance for the stresses of dieting and exercising, and you don't. But that doesn't mean you can't. So what you do is the first time you run 3 miles at a 7-minute pace, you get overwhelmed and shut down and say, this is too hard, I can't do it. When instead you should say, I will be able to run a 26-mile marathon. It is going to take a little bit of time. I will just have to push myself a little bit more, and I'm looking, what can I be 6 months from now? What can I be 3 months from now? And it gets easier. And my son said this when he started working camps for us, because it's very stressful. It's very hard. It's like, 15-hour days for 70 days straight, and we don't have any weekends off. Now I build in days off for them, but the first couple of years they didn't get any days off necessarily. They just went. And then second year he's like, this is freaking easy. He's like, I thought I was gonna die last year. I'm like, yeah, it gets easy. And now he's like, when I take 2 days off, it's hard to get back into the groove. He goes, I almost don't want to take a day off. I like that momentum that I once had. And I'm like, yeah, I know, it's kind of crazy. When you take more than 1 day off, when you come back, you feel like it takes you a while to get your motor running. He goes, it's freaking crazy. I'm like, yes, now you figured it out, right? You should feel that way. So your goal is to say, I have a low tolerance for stress and discipline and anxiety, but I'm going to keep going to tournaments. I'm going to keep grabbing the good partners until it gets easy. What once was hard now is easy. What once was hard now is easy. It used to be hard bench pressing 200 pounds. Now it's easy. Now you can bench press 250 and you can do 135 for a sets of 30. Oh, guess what? Because you kept going to the weight room and pushing yourself. You didn't put on 280 pounds and then drop it on your neck and say, oh, I'm not doing that again. No, you just stuck with it. So stress and anxiety and match nerves and recovering from losses and disciplining our disappointment and goal setting and the stress and anxiety of, I haven't won a state title yet. I want to wrestle in college. You can't take much of that. You can't take much of the dieting, but you can. You just haven't pushed through it because you've stopped. You've stopped and quit and sat down and given up. And then you get all motivated and you go again. Oh, I'm going to do it this time. And I'm like, dude, you're not going to do anything different than you always done. Right? And we have parents like that too, right? And we have adults like that, and you just cannot be. 10% of the people win 90% of the stuff, but they have pushed through that. So it's not just your ability to physically handle stress and running this hill, which I'm getting ready to do. It's not just that. Some people can't walk this thing. I'll run it 3 times. It won't be easy. But I used to couldn't do it. I'm not going to lie. It's embarrassing. It's actually a pretty big hill. It's like 0.2 miles. Well, to my garage door it is. But this is a pretty long hill, right? Look how beautiful it is out here in Augusta, Missouri. But you just have to say, my ability to handle stress and anxiety, I can get better at it. Just like I can get better at running, I can get better at lifting, I can get better at wrestling, my endurance gets better during a hard practice. It's just going to take some time. And once you understand that and you just give yourself that realistic information, and then you can say, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep I'm going to keep hopping into the arena. I'm going to keep hopping into the fire. And one day I won't even give a crap who I have. I'm not going to worry about stress and anxiety. My discipline's going to be so strong. I'll be able to diet for 7 months straight and not even think about it. It's just going to be who I am. And you got to get to that point. Good luck. Hopefully you can figure it out.